Hello and welcome. I'm Geeta Mohan and you're watching Worldtoday. Now, the White House was rocked this week with the Signalgate scandal. U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hexler texted the start time for the planned killing of a Houthi militant in Yemen on the 15th of March, along with details of further U.S. airstrikes that would normally be closely guarded secrets. And this was done on a Signal group chat to which the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic magazine was also included. A week after the attack, Jeffrey Goldberg published his report in 2 parts with screenshots of the chat released. The Trump administration attacked the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic and downplayed the security breach in its emergency crisis management.
U.S. war plans for upcoming military strikes in Yemen were texted to a group chat in a secure messaging app 2 hours before it was to be carried out. Top national security officials for President Donald Trump, including his defense secretary, were part of the group chat. And it also included the editor-in-chief for the magazine, The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg. He was invited in the group by none other than Mike Waltz, U.S. National Security Advisor.
They're going back and forth. A lot of resentment directed at European allies of the United States, which obviously enhanced the credibility of this chain, because everybody in the chain sounded like the people I know who are in this administration. Nevertheless, it wasn't until Saturday that I was reasonably certain that this wasn't a hoax, that I had actually mistakenly been included in a conversation of the Principals Committee, essentially the leaders of the national security community, including the head of the CIA, in this discussion of whether the Houthis should be attacked in Yemen.
In the follow-up report, the next day, the Atlantic editor-in-chief posted parts of the chat detailing the Yemen attack in the Signal group. It detailed the F-18 launch and drone strikes. Trump's defense secretary, Pete Hexler, posted details of the attack on March 15th. A couple of hours later, the U.S. began launching a series of airstrikes against Houthi targets in Yemen.
Honestly, my reaction was, I think I've discovered a massive security breach in the United States national security system. Which is to say, it's almost automatically true that if the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic is being given access to this kind of information, weapons systems and packages and timing and weather in Yemen and all kinds of information about sequencing of particular events, then obviously there's a security breach.
He left the group as soon as he realized that this group was not a hoax or AI generated or a scam, but real. As soon as Jeffrey Goldberg posted his story, chaos broke out. The White House and all the members of the Trump cabinet slammed Jeffrey Goldberg and his credibility, as well as denied posting any war report in the group.
You're talking about a deceitful and highly discredited so-called journalist who's made a profession of peddling hoaxes time and time again, to include the hoaxes of Russia, or the fine people on both sides hoax, or suckers and losers hoax. So this is the guy that peddles in garbage. This is what he does. I would love to comment on the Houthi campaign because of the skill and courage of our troops. I've monitored it very closely from the beginning.
The POTUS first said he was not aware of the report of The Atlantic. But later he downplayed the story and stood by his national security advisor, Mike Waltz.
There was no classified information, as I understand it. They used a app, if you want to call it an app, that a lot of people use, a lot of people in government use, a lot of people in the media use. And I think I'll ask Mike. Mike is here. Do you want to respond to that, please?
Yes, Mr. President. You asked about lessons. I think there's a lot of journalists in this city who have made big names for themselves, making up lies about this president, whether it's the Russia hoax or making up lies about Gold Star families, and this one in particular I've never met, don't know, never communicated with, and we are looking into and reviewing how the heck he got into this room. But I'll tell you what, the world owes President Trump a favor.
The Signalgate of Yemen attack triggered Senate members to call for resignation of the top security officials. But the Trump administration continued to downplay the security breach of the leak of attack plans on legal and technical grounds. Bureau Report, India Today.
As soon as the report was published by Jeffrey Goldberg, Trump administration's top intelligence officials faced the first Senate and then Congress hearings to offer their testimonies. The hearings were about the threats facing the United States of America and tackling of urgent questions about the security breach that unfolded when war plans were mistakenly leaked to Editor-in-Chief of The Atlantic. FBI Director Kash Patel, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, and Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard were among the witnesses who appeared before the Senate Intelligence Committee. Listen in to this excerpt from the hearing.
I want to get a little more information about this. Director Gabbard, did you participate in the group chat with Secretary of Defense and other Trump senior officials discussing the Yemen war plans?
Senator, I don't want to get into the specifics.
Ma'am, were you on? You're not going to be willing to address. So you're not, are you denying? Matt, will you answer my question, ma'am? You were not TG on this group chat?
I'm not going to get into the specifics.
So you refuse to acknowledge whether you were on this group chat?
Senator, I'm not going to get into the specifics.
Why are you going to get into the specifics? Is it because it's all classified?
Because this is currently under review by the National Security
Because
Council.
it's all classified? If it's not classified, share the text now.
As the White House previously
Is it classified
stated,
or non-classified information on this text?
I can confirm.
Director Radcliffe, were you on the group chat?
Senator, I was on a signal messaging group.
So you were the John Ratcliffe on that chat?
I was.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I provide some context, Senator, to that?
Yes, but I've got a series of questions.
Well, but I think it's important because at the outset you made a couple of comments about signal messaging using encrypted apps. So that we're clear, one of the first things that happened when I was confirmed as CIA director was signal was loaded onto my computer at the CIA, as it is for most CIA officers. One of the things that I was briefed on very early, Senator, was by the CIA records management folks about the use of signal as a permissible work use. It is. That is a practice that preceded the current administration to the Biden administration.
Director Ratcliffe, I've got a series of questions. If you're making the statement, the statement, the signal is a secure channel.
No, can I answer that? It is.
I've got a series
end-to-end decryption. So
to finish,
I understand encryption. It is permissible to use to communicate and coordinate for work purposes, provided, Senator, that any decisions that are made are also recorded through formal channels. Right. So those were procedures that were implemented. My staff implemented those processes, followed those processes, complied with those processes, and finally, just please. So my communications, to be clear, in a signal message group were entirely permissible and lawful and did not include classified information.
Well, we will make that determination, because if it's not classified, share the text with the committee. Let me go on. Director Gabbard, you are the security executive and set access guidelines for classified information. Did you contact the defense secretary or others after this specific military planning was put out and say, hey, we should be doing this in a SCIF?
There was no classified material that was shared in that.
So then if there were no classified material, share it with the committee. You can't have it both ways. These are important jobs. This is our national security. Bobbing and weaving and trying to, filibuster your answer. So please answer the question. If this was Director Gabbard, if this was a rank and file intelligence officer who did this kind of careless behavior, what would you do with them?
Senator, I'll reiterate that there was no classified material that was shared in that
And if there's no classified materials, share. And then if there's no classified materials, then you can't even answer the question whether you're on the chat. This is strangely familiar, and I think my colleagues will remember, when you couldn't answer the question, is Edward Snowden a traitor? Man, I have serious doubts about your, anyway. Director Gabbard, I'm going to give you this. Tweeted just 11 days ago, and I'm quoting you. Any unauthorized release of classified information is a violation of the law and will be treated as such. So if this information is classified, what are you going to do?
Senator, 2 points here. First of all, there's a difference between inadvertent release versus
careless and sloppy,
malicious leaks of classified information. The second point is there was no classified information that was on
this committee should get that information. Director Patel, Director Patel, my time's about out, and I'm going to use my 12 seconds up the chairman came. Director Patel, has the FBI launched any investigation of this?
Senator, I was just briefed about it late last night, this morning. I don't have an update.
I would like to get an answer by the end of the day.
General Cruz, are you familiar with this system?
I'm not wearing my glasses at the moment, but...
Well, I'll help you out. This is an SA-3 anti-aircraft system.
Correct.
Are you familiar with this next system?
I am.
What is it?
I'm going to have to ask you.
It's an SA-6.
I'm going to guess that...
This is also an advanced anti-aircraft system, is it not?
It is. It was used widely in the Balkans in the 90s, correct?
And the Houthis also have this system, don't they?
They certainly do.
And they've employed it against our aircraft, have they not?
They have attempted to, correct.
This text message is clearly classified information. Secretary Hexler has disclosed military plans as well as classified information. He needs to resign immediately. He needs to resign immediately, and a full investigation needs to be undertaken with regard to whether other similar signal chats are occurring in this administration.
U.S. President Donald Trump escalates tariff wars just a week before they come into effect. He's announced a 25% tariff on all auto imports. Canada and EU have slammed the latest tariffs, which have spooked even American companies, including Elon Musk's Tesla.
Going to charge countries for doing business in our country and taking our jobs, taking our wealth, taking a lot of things that they've been taking over the years. They've taken so much out of our country. Friend and foe, and frankly, friend has been oftentimes much worse than foe.
With those words, Donald Trump deployed his most aggressive trade weapon yet, signing an executive order that triggers a seismic shift in the global manufacturing landscape. Global stock markets and the auto industry looked on in horror as Trump announced long-promised tariffs of up to 25% on automotive imports. Auto stocks in the US, Asia and Europe fell as he said the tariffs would be permanent and will take effect on 2nd April, the same date as reciprocal tariffs.
This will continue to spur growth like you haven't seen. Before I was elected, we were losing all of our plants. They were being built in Mexico and Canada and other places. Now those plants largely have stopped and they're moving them.
While Trump insists the tariff will boost domestic growth, analysts paint a more concerning picture. 2 days before President Trump signed his executive order imposing 25% auto tariff, his close aide and Tesla CEO Elon Musk was hit hard. In a stunning shift in the electric vehicle market, China's BYD surged past Tesla, claiming the top spot in global sales. According to latest reports, Chinese automaker BYD recorded a staggering $107 billion in revenue for 2024, eclipsing Tesla's $97.7 billion. BYD sold nearly 4.3 million vehicles last year, a mix of fully electric and hybrid models, dwarfing Tesla's 1.79 million pure EV deliveries. That is more than double Tesla's output, a gap that is turning heads worldwide. Tesla has been hit by protests since Musk started hogging the limelight as the US president's influence-in-chief. The US president bought a Tesla car earlier this month to show his solidarity for the Dodge chief. But this hardly improved Tesla's fortune internally. By the end of the week, there came the announcement that Tesla will start sales in Saudi Arabia next month, signaling CEO Elon Musk and the kingdom have healed a rift that dates back to the billionaire's short-lived bid in 2018 to take the company private. Tesla sells in other Middle Eastern countries, but not in Saudi Arabia. It is the largest auto market in the Gulf region, where EVs only account of 1% of total car sales. The brand has had considerable success in neighboring United Arab Emirates, where most ride-hailing apps offer electric vehicles. Trump's auto tariff might not hit Tesla hard, but in its fragile state at the moment, even a slight blow can be hard to deal with. Opening up of the Saudi market at this point of time is indeed good news for Musk and Tesla. Bureau Report, India Today.
With Donald Trump as POTUS, no day is the same and certainly not dull. On Friday, he committed himself to make Washington, D.C. cleaner, safer and more beautiful than ever. In a post on Truth Social, he posted that he would work with the mayor of American capital city to crack down on crime like never before, and if need be, he would do it himself. The post immediately went viral. Any move he makes becomes viral. And here are some more viral moments from POTUS this week.
US President Donald Trump's iftar party at White House went viral with his acknowledging the significance of Ramzan and expressing gratitude to Muslim community for their support in the 2024 presidential election. Social media users are divided over his iftar outreach for the Muslim community.
But I just want to say hello to all of the people that supported us so strongly. Ramadan Mubarak.
Trump gives himself a new nickname in a speech at a Women's History Month event at the White House on Wednesday. He called himself Fertilization President while speaking of his administration's effort to expand in vitro fertilization.
Tremendous goodies in the bag for women, too. The women, between the fertilization and all of the other things that we're talking about, it's going to be great. We're joined today. Fertilization. I'm still very proud of it. I don't care. I'll be known as the fertilization president, and that's okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. I've been called much worse.
Trump had a viral moment at the Greek Independence Day celebration when the crowd erupted in chants of 4 more years after he welcomed Kimberly Ann Guilfoyle to the podium. His reaction to the enthusiastic crowd was captured and quickly went viral on the social media.
Now, if you want to really drive him crazy, you say 12 more years.
Ukraine is in trouble and Europe a divided house. Russian news agencies now have reported that the Russian President Vladimir Putin, has suggested Ukraine could be placed under a form of temporary administration to allow for new elections and the signature of key accords with the aim of reaching a settlement in war. He also said that the US President Donald Trump, who has improved ties with Russia, sincerely wanted to end the more than 3-year-long conflict, but he finds EU inconsistent while Russia is willing to work with Europe. Hours later, former Prime Minister and President of Russia, Dmitry Medvedev, posted on X that the regime in power in Ukraine's Kyiv would be hanged on the Maidan if they approve the mineral deal with the US, and if they don't, America will come after them, indicating a checkmate situation for Zelensky and his team. Early in the week, after rounds of separate talks with Ukraine and Russia, America mediated a month-long ceasefire on energy infrastructures to pave way for a longer peace deal. Both sides have been accusing each other of violating the ceasefire already, even before they really go ahead and ink the Riyadh deal.
By the way, we are ready to work with Europe, but they are acting inconsistently. They always try to lead us around by the nose. But it's okay. We have become used to it. I hope that we won't make any mistakes based on excessive trust in our so-called partners. Re-elected US President sincerely wants to see an end to this conflict for a variety of reasons. I won't count them. There are a lot. But from my point of view, it is a sincere desire.
Trouble brews in Nepal. Face-off in Kathmandu as pro-monarchy and pro-republic protesters staged demonstrations. Violence broke out in the capital after protesters demanding return of monarchy clashed with the police near the airport. Tear gas and rubber bullets were fired by the police. Vehicles and a house were torched. Protests have been going on ever since Gyanendra Shah issued a video message on Democracy Day, that is 19th of February, seeking public support for monarchy. Notably, some protesters displayed images of Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath alongside Gyanedra's during the initial protests. The country had abolished monarchy in the year 2008, transforming Nepal into a secular, federal, democratic republic after ending more than 2 centuries of rule by the Shah dynasty. And now here are viral images of the famous cartoon character Pikachu lodged in protests. This video of Pikachu fleeing from the police in Turkey's Antalya during a stir against President Erdogan has captured global attention. Mass protests have broken out in Turkey following the arrest of Istanbul mayor. Turkey is indeed burning because opposition leader and the mayor of Istanbul has been arrested, has been detained on charges of corruption. But the fact is that he's a strong voice against Erdogan, and it does seem like Erdogan's insecurities are quite evident and visible in this crackdown on democracy. That's all in this edition of World Today. But before I go, here are visuals of a deadly earthquake that struck Myanmar, leading to jolts in Thailand, Bangladesh, China, and the northeast of India. The scale of damage is massive while panic sets in. State of emergency has been declared in Bangkok, and a lockdown of airports, subways also followed suit. We leave you with these visuals of deadly destruction as death toll continues to rise and the number of injured also continues to rise. Goodbye and take care.